ba 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 ba. We have the answers to all the oh, hey, I'm online. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hope everyone is doing something. All right, so AronRa debated this guy, Jake Brancatella, whatever. And he's a presupper, Jake is. Jake is a presuppositionalist, and that's what he's got for his argument. The debate topic was evidence for God. But no, he's like, oh, I'm going to present this philosophical argument, which can be evidence. No, it cannot be evidence, because arguments are not evidence. I already analyzed this argument, at least part of it, that Jake had on his screen there, pointing out all the numerous fallacies that it had. I'll have the link for that in the description. So, Ra, you're, had kind of a follow-up on it, and I'm listening to it, and I have some comments on it, so I guess I'll share my comments, and that will be what I'm doing here. So here we go. Okay. All right. So Jake's argument is incoherent and presuppositional. So he says basically truth exists in the mind, in the brain, and that if it's necessary, it's a necessary truth, then it has to exist in a necessary mind, which is God. That's incoherent, and that's it's just a philosophical wish-washing of well, truth is a thing, and since it's a thing, then that thing has to have a thing that makes it a thing, and that thing has to be God, and and it's just so incoherent. So it isn't evidence because arguments aren't evidence. It's also not evidence because we don't have the God. So whether or not truth is a thing that's in the mind, whatever the belief that means, there becomes problems with that, of course, because minds didn't always exist. So before minds existed, you still had a universe full of stuff, right? And so basically you're saying, yeah, but that universe requires God. So the whole thing is, it's circular, of course, because all a presup is. So all we're really asking is it real, yes or no? That's what we're trying to ask. And he's saying, well, the statement, is it real, requires you to have God to make that statement. You can't even say if it's real or not unless you have God. See? So it all just folds back into God, and none of it is evidence at all. He said, oh, sure, I have things that are like science that point to God, and yeah, great. Why didn't you present any of that? Because he doesn't have it. That's the truth. And everybody in the audience is like, look, I don't understand your argument. I think that you're way off kilter here. It just seems to be a bunch of word salad. Where's the evidence? He's like, oh, yeah, I have evidence. Yeah, I'm just not going to present it here because that's not what the debate was about. But that's exactly what the debate was about. And so saying that truth requires mind, and mind is then requires mind, and then that's God. And so if it's true, then there's a God. You're just saying if there's a God, then there's a God. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. Arguing in circles. So what's truth? Truth is just what's real. So is it real? That's all we're trying to ask. We don't need this long philosophical mumbo jumbo. We just need to know if it's true or not. That's all. It shouldn't be that difficult. It really shouldn't be. And one of the participants in the Q&A said, I mean, everything else has a way to verify it externally to itself. And AronRa mentioned. Let me go back to the thing here. Get a screenshot here. The lighting is really bad. Oh well. What are you gonna do here? What are you gonna do about that? Nothing. You're not gonna do anything about that. That's just the way it is. Alright, so you talked about the microphone. Alright, so let's get a close-up here of the microphone here. See if we can do that. Not very good of a thing. Hold on here. Hold on. Share the right screen would be good. Here we go. There it is. All right. Yeah, that's it. There we go. Okay. So here's the microphone. Like I said, it's kind of hard to see. But yeah, there's a microphone. So that exists, and both this guy and this dude can be like, hey, this is where that microphone is. This is what it looks like. This is what it does. This is who made it. How it works. Who can describe it? And so he's like, yeah, but is it true? This guy says, is it true? Is the microphone true? And he's like, what? No, what? I would have said, yeah, sure, it's true. Yeah, microphone is true. Yeah, it's real. Because what I mean by true is just, it's real. Yes, microphone is real. There is really a microphone there. There are really microphones. They are things. They're not just things that we made up. That's a distinction that this just seems to be absent here, at least for the apologist side, of is it real or not? But it doesn't matter, because no matter how you phrase these debates, it seems like the apologist always has some philosophical meanderings to get out of it, right? So here's a good old Jar Jar Binks. I hate Jar Jar Binks. But is he true? Is he true? That's a fair question. Is Jar Jar Binks true? And truth requires minds, right? And it requires a necessary mind, and so that requires a God, according to Jake. Okay. But that didn't answer the question of if Jar Jar Binks is true, did it? Is Jar Jar Binks true? Is it true that Jar Jar Binks is really there? Is that the truth? Now we can both describe Jar Jar Binks. We can talk about what he's doing, what he sounds like, where he's located, at least within the film. We can do all those things, but Jar Jar Binks turns out to be completely fictional. He's not really real. He's computer generated. Somebody drew him, drew his features and such. He's, a guy dressed up with little foam balls and whatnot, and they use special effects to make this happen. Back in the day, they would have used makeup, but whatever, So, is Jar Jar Binks true? Let's just get rid of the whole true thing. Let's just say, is he real? And you can say, well, real in what sense? Because, I mean, he's real in the mind. And so if Jar Jar Binks is real in the mind, then he's necessarily real. And so therefore Jar Jar Binks is true. And you see what I've done is I just have replaced God with Jar Jar Binks now. But Jar Jar Binks is not really real. He was made up. But I can use the same idea of presup to get to Jar Jar Binks. In fact, I can use presup to get to anything I want. And that's the problem with presup. It's not logical. It's circular. You start with the conclusion you want, and then you say that that truth, reality, logic, science is dependent upon the thing that you want, and then there you go. Aha! The thing I want must be true because you can't use all these other things unless it's true. Ha ha ha! It's not evidence. Is it evidence that Jar Jar Binks is real? No! Because arguments are not evidence. I've said this before. Say it again. Arguments are not evidence. But yet, apologists keep on saying this. I've had plenty of videos that go over this. Plenty of things, times I've said this. Let me go down in the comments here, because this is relevant. Marco Lilik? Whatever. I can't pronounce words. I really hope a day comes when the theist acknowledges that arguments are not evidence. Because listening to debates that go like, please present your evidence. I did. I argued. It's true. It's making us collectively dumber. Right. Exactly. And that's what they do. They keep doing it. I struggle to comprehend. It's still an issue with so many apologists. It seems so self-evident. It's absurdly mind-boggling. No further progress without putting this to bed, and it's moot until then. They can't admit that. Arguments is all they have. They reference back to Aquinas and Everest and failed to update. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Lawyers don't call into proof that the religion is non-fiction. Their arguments aren't even that. They're claims. Dishonest claims are all apologists have. Yeah. The day theists are honest about their beliefs, people stop taking them seriously. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response or even close to anything that could be considered as rational thought. Yeah. So, it's a recurring motif that many apologists seem to think that arguments are evidence. But they're not. Philosophical arguments can be evidence. No, they can't. They cannot. They are not. That's not what the debate was supposed to be about. The debate was supposed to be about evidence for God, and he didn't bring that. He brought presuppositional argumentation and then pretended to have evidence of God in some other debate that he didn't tell us what that debate was. Yeah. Jake is full of it. Would I ever debate Jake? There'd be certain rules that he wouldn't agree to, so probably not. And the number one rule would be that the definitions have to be defined in a coherent manner that both people agree to. And he would never agree to that, because my version of what is true is just reality, whatever is real. I would say, look, you need empirical evidence or repeatable test for the thing you're talking about. And you need to demonstrate that. If you can't do that, we're done. If you're not willing or able to do that, then we're done. And he wouldn't agree to that debate because he couldn't provide that. He'd just say, oh, but that's not what God is. Well, there you go. That's why I don't believe in it. Alright. Presup sucks still. And arguments are still not evidence. And never will be. Thanks for watching. See you next time.